This shirt's looking a bit yellow around the collar. I want to get that cleaned.
Mr. Hamish, can you explain to us what happened to the colonial collection? It seems somewhat depleted.
But, most likely maintenance work, tidying up.
You're not sure, then? But you're the deputy director.
Well, I am busy. I cannot be everywhere at once.
Albert told us about the tragic death of Mr. Dunn, the late director of Kew Gardens.
Tragic indeed. His heart attack was quite unexpected.
As deputy director, how was your relationship with Montague Dunn?
To be honest with you, Mr. Holmes, it could have been better. You see, every Tuesday he would carry out his inspection of the gardens, but it was solely to make an impression, great pretense that he cared at all. He would give out absurd orders, ignoring anyone else's opinion. He would then disappear for the rest of the week. He was what some might call a man of action. I'd say rather he was overzealous and chaotic. So after all, it was no wonder, perhaps, that he ended up like that, if you take into consideration his kind of lifestyle.
Well, don't sugarcoat it. Tell us what you really feel.
You mentioned that Mr. Dunn led a particular lifestyle.
Well, it's no secret that he enjoyed, celebrating, shall we say. He was a member of the London Smart Set. He was famous for it. That
And?
He had an eye for the ladies, to put it mildly, Mr. Holmes.
Tell me, Mr. Hamish, do you grow the more deadly variety of plant here?
You mean insectivorous? Yes, but nothing larger than that.
Mr. Hamish, can you tell us who holds the keys to the locked greenhouses?
That would be Albert, Mr. Dunn's son. Yes, Albert keeps all the keys, and one can only imagine why.
What do you mean?
Well, he was never interested in Kew Gardens before, and now all of a sudden he is trying to act as if he owns the place. I think he wants to take over the management here. He'd do better to leave that to me. He has no experience. No, none at all.
Thank you, Mr. Hamish. We shall continue our investigation.
Get out the way, Watson. Right, we've got to find that dude. Where did he say he was going to be? I genuinely can't remember.
Locked.
We've got to find him. Where are you? Please come out.
Can I help you, gentlemen?
Ah. Who said that? Oh. That's him. Let's sort you out. Here we go.
Who is Miss Margaret White?
Ah, she is the young lady who studies with me. She visits here sometimes to help out with the greenhouses. In fact, she should be here today. She wanted to work at the seed house. That's the small greenhouse across from the large glass house.
Do you work here?
Yes, but part-time only, for I'm also studying botany at the University of London.
You're following in your father's footsteps, then. That is commendable.
Well, even if botany is not my strongest suit, there are people who say that I could be a good manager.
We noticed that a part of the colonial collection has been cleared.
Ah. At the moment, I'm just dealing with the storage room. I don't know much about the other rooms.
I imagine that your relationship with your father may have been a strained one.
Yes. I cannot say that he was a kind man, for he never listened to me at all. He forced me to work here. But now, after his death, I've been pondering it over. Perhaps he wasn't so wrong about me after all. I have to follow his path, and I have to manage Kew Gardens, and I can do it. I can be as good as any other who works here.
Would you please tell us about Martin Hamish, the deputy director?
Well, I have to tell you that Mr. Hamish is not and has never been the deputy director of Kew
Oh,
Gardens.
really?
My father would not have tolerated it.
Indeed? Well, that is most interesting. He told us that he was.
Yes, because he believes that the management should be passed down to him now that my father is dead. But in actual fact, Mr. Hamish only has the honour of being the garden's longest-serving employee. In fact, if we are to think logically at all, it should be me who takes over the management of Kew Gardens.
Do you not have a good relationship with Mr. Hamish?
I suppose so. But we have very little in common. Mr. Hamish loves his plants and Kew Gardens, and I cannot say that I share his passion.
I see. And how was his relationship with your father?
Oh, he hated my father. It was obvious. He would be furious whenever my father boasted of Kew Gardens in the newspapers or at conferences. He was convinced that my father was stealing all of the credit for himself. But my father treated Mr. Hamish in the same way as he treated anyone. Dismissively. With indifference.
Oh, that's okay then. What? Doesn't make any sense.
Do you hold the keys to all of these locked doors?
Yes, you can have them. But I cannot give you the keys to the cloakroom. The employees' effects are private. I am sure you understand.
Thank you, young man. We shall see you again soon. Palm. A task list for Albert, compiled by Martin Hamish. Sweep out the Palm House.
Yes, we can read. Oh, how lovely.
According to this, they have light and moisture control.
Yes, indeed.
Acco-
And we're back here. Okay. Quick, get away, there's a monster chasing us. Ah! There she is.
Look, Holmes, this charming lady must be Miss White. She's
All right.
entering the seed house.
Charming, is she? Ooh. Someone likes her.
Open.
What? What? Yeah, I don't understand that. What, did he command the door to open? Open! Very strange indeed. Are you okay there, Watson? You seem to be in a bit of a rush to go and talk to her. Come on, mate, you crack on if you want.
From here, we are unable to see the interior of the Colonial Collection Room.
What has that got to do with anything?
These leather gloves are new and of good quality. They do not appear to have been used. Materials for college study. This place serves as Albert's office. A book about ships. Nothing at all to do with plants.
And a photo of a ship as well. That ghost is really weird. Okay, let's talk to her.
Good day to you, miss. You have some very beautiful plants here.
Alright, Watson.
All right, thank you, sir. And good day to you, too. But
Oh, I do beg your pardon. My name is Dr. John Watson.
You okay then, mate?
This is my good friend, Mr. Sherlock Holmes.
I am honored to make your acquaintance, gentlemen. My name is Margaret White. Excuse me, but are you Sherlock
Oh,
Holmes,
Watson,
the great detective?
burn.
Yes, I am he.
What a pleasure to see you here at Kew Gardens.
Oh,
Are you working on a case?
see, sorry, Watson, but unfortunately, girls just like the famous people. You don't want a girl like that anyway, mate. Don't worry about it. Ooh, look at her hands.
Yes, a theft of plants that took place here a few days ago after their most recent exhibition.
Oh yes, of course. I quite forgot about that.
Oh, I think she's dodgy.
Oh, it's quite understandable that you might forget about the theft of the plants, miss, after the tragedy that took place here.
Yes. The director was a truly good man. It is such a terrible misfortune.
You're lying? You're lying completely?
Would you happen to know why part of the colonial collection was cleared?
No, I have never been there.
Was the owner giving her presents such as expensive perfumes, perhaps?
Do you work here?
Part-time only. I am a biology student at the London University. I attend the same classes as the son of Mr. Montague Dunn. That is how I found my chance to work here for part of my thesis, you see. It is a great honour.
Oh yeah, lovely, great.
How well did you know Mr. Montague Dunn?
Yes, please tell us.
He was a master, a great leader. I saw him almost as a spiritual father.
He had an exceptional nature?
Oh yes, indeed. He was always so active and so optimistic and very nice to me. Although
I bet.
he could behave harshly towards his son.
Why so?
He loved his son dearly and wanted the very best for him. It made him extremely demanding. Albert, who is naturally shy, suffered because of it.
Most of the doors in Kew Gardens are locked. Do you have a key to this room?
Oh, yes. Albert gave me a set of duplicate keys. He agreed I might carry out my studies without disturbing him. It is only temporary.
Thank you, miss. None of the 3 people who work at Kew Gardens know why half of the colonial collection was cleared. So, someone is lying. It is obvious. The seeds of plant species are stored here.
Oh, that wasn't very helpful. What am I stuck on? Why has that been dumped there? Is it missing a piece? Yes, it is.
I am curious if the marble that we found... Here it is. The marble fragment that we found in the colonial collection room is what they have in common. It is a bust of Montague Dunn.
How random.
These young plants must be delicate if they are kept in the nursery.
Ah, bless them.
A glasses case.
It's empty.
A thesis written by Martin Hamish. This area serves as Martin Hamish's office. This poster is for an exhibition that Martin Hamish was directing, but it had nothing to do with Kew Gardens.
Huh.
This certificate belongs to Martin Hamish. He won a horticultural competition.
Bully for him.
A master's degree diploma. It belongs to Martin Hamish. An award presented to Martin Hamish for Best Grower of the Year.
He's a grower, not a shower. Okay, that seems to be about it in here. Is that to the same place? Where's this go? Oh, I can't get into these rooms though, can I? Oh, this one I can.
Locked.
It's not locked. I've unlocked it.
There was a bottle here. It left behind a trace of the substance that pervaded the laboratory.
Gold dust? Good heavens. What's it doing here?
The gold is almost immune to chemical attacks, so it may be a valuable auxiliary for various experiments.
But why would anyone perform such experiments in a botanical garden?
Several drops of the substance were spilled. Someone carried this bottle around. Several drops of the bottle is no longer here, but it is possible to detect a faint scent. We need a good nose.
Toby!
This student's book belongs to Albert,
Repeat, yeah.
a botany book. The employee's cloakroom.
Which we're not allowed in. One's missing.
It appears as though the protective equipment is missing from here.
It's good disguise though, isn't it? You won't know who did it if you're wearing a mask.
Gloves, waterproof aprons, everything one might need for self-protection.
Do they grow dangerous plants here?
Such masks are generally worn when dealing with toxic chemicals. This is a table for experiments. It resembles my own.
Only this one is kept in good order, Holmes.
Ooh! Sarky bitch.
A phonograph used for voice recording. Remarkable.
That is...
Yes, this
that's
is quite
crazy.
a modern laboratory.
Oh mate, I can't imagine how you could record your voice. That is so mental.
I don't hear anything.
What?
And it seems clear from these multiple experiments that plants do respond to their environment and have a form of consciousness. Margaret White, February 1895. Report number 245.
Study report.
Martin Hamish's perception of plants. The notion of communication in the plant world has long been considered marginal, yet I remain convinced that some plants do indeed transmit chemical signals in the event of attack.
A study report by Martin Hamish. Chemicals. A sufficient quantity for some serious experiments.
Just kept in bottles there. Have they even got stoppers in? So we need Toby.
What is your opinion of Albert as a student of botany?
He's useless. I often tell him so, and I can only give him cleaning tasks. Botany is not his life's work, and his father well knew it. He was furious about it.
He was.
Oh yes, he forced his son to work here, and he never missed an opportunity to criticize him publicly.
Are you able to elaborate on that?
Well, for example, with our last exhibition here, Mr. Dunn had Albert make a presentation speech. But then, while the lad was speaking, Mr. Dunn interrupted him, asking him difficult questions, making him look like a failure.
What bastards.
It was with the intention of making a fool of him, Mr. Holmes.
Yeah, that's horrible.
That must have been terribly humiliating.
Yes, he was crushed, and he had to leave. Everybody was making fun of poor Albert. That is, except for Miss Margaret White, who is such a nice lady and who always takes pity on Albert.
You mentioned a Miss White. Would you tell us more about her?
She is a student who works here part-time. She is quite charming indeed. She possesses a great talent for botany. You should take a look at some of her experiments that she carried out in the laboratory. Ah, if only she were not so naive.
Why naive?
The way she used to flutter around Mr. Montague Dunn. And he couldn't help but be flattered by all her attention. How could an intelligent woman such as Miss White not see through his game? I can only scratch my head and wonder.
Bitches be crazy.
There is a bust of Montague Dunn in the nursery.
A bust? Oh, that old thing. Further proof of that outrageous ego of his.
But why in that room, in particular?
Oh, I don't know. It has always been there.
Liar.
It is strange, because I recovered a fragment of the bust inside the Colonial Collection Room.
Really? Oh, well, so I am mistaken. It ought to have been removed during the cleanup. This room is so small.
Do you know who moved it?
I have no idea. Surely Mr. Dunn requested it. Do you have any more questions like this? Because fragments of rock are not my responsibility.
Evidently. Thank you, Mr. Hamish. We shall continue our investigation.
Got a bit funny about that, didn't he? Let's go and get Toby and we can take a look at the smell and see if we can get any further.
Please like, please subscribe. Call me a prick in the comments if you want. Bye bye.